really wish I could make more Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power videos, but here's the thing, man. I've been listening to some reviews from a bunch of different people that I do respect, and it just sounds so painfully boring, and the hit pieces, they just continue to be the exact same stuff. Oh, if you hate it, you're a racist, and it's like, okay, everybody just says that it's boring and the writing's atrocious. No, shut up, racist. Now you're a bigot, and it's like, okay, cool, you just continue to stack the same stuff on over and over again. Funny, you haven't released any viewing figures of the past 2 weeks when it hasn't been advertised to be the second coming of Christ, but no, it just continues to be nonsensical. You get lines like, what's the difference between a ship and a rock? Like, there's so many different fucking things, okay? Or then last week, you get the one, the sea is always right. I don't know if that's supposed to be big up in Galadriel or what the fuck we're talking about here. And then you get this, okay? Down there in Numenor, apparently this is at Numenor, it just kind of looks like a shitty recreation of Rome somewhere or another. Then, yeah, like, honestly, you get a bunch of white people doing the fucking Roman salute saying elves will not replace us. They are just rage baiting. They want some sort of attention there. And again, this was all filmed fucking years ago at this point, okay? They had an agenda that they wanted to push, okay? They all figured this is all Hollywood with all of this shit fucking finally coming to light. They just wanted to get people to talk about it and rage about it. I just have nothing else to add to the conversation, okay? There's still people that continue to make video after video after video about Rings of Power. Hell, if they're doing reviews on it, congratulations, that's wonderful and fantastic. It's just some things that I see, even when it's in politics, if it's in sports, or even if it's hoes being mad or hoes being crazy out there, some sort of red pill topic. If I see it, there's some times where it's just one of those things where you just look at it and it's like, I don't care about that at all whatsoever. And the best thing you can do when you see stuff that's just so blatantly put out there as a trap, as a little bit of bait, you just look at it and go, huh, and then you just continue to go on with your day. But also, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that Chad King, okay, cool, is using Chris Benoit as a profile picture. What a fucking dork. But I did all that preamble to set up something else. One of the first things that I seen that everybody was making a big stink about, okay, was this self-obsessed little thing. Goes by the name Frosk, I guess. Okay, she was trying to bring back, it's a she, by the way. I know it's tough to believe. But she was trying to run back this whole, oh my god, gaming and gamers, you guys are just all sexists, bigots, and you just like to sexualize people, and you don't like me because I'm not as attractive as the previous host. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I know a lot of people jumped on that stuff, okay? It was a big, more detractors out there on G4. That's the station that got revived. I have no connection to it as a kid, and I know a lot of people used to watch it. Station G4 for their video game coverage. They were big back during the late PS2, PS3 life cycle, so 2000s, 2010s, early 2010s, that's when everything was really kicking off. Okay, and then it got revived as a YouTube channel and a Twitch streaming platform. Okay, it has a bunch of big names behind it, a couple of pro wrestlers, some YouTube personalities, one of which I've actually met in person. He's a hell of a good guy, and he was unfortunately wrapped up in this entire situation, so that's totally fucking weird in and of itself. And then another guy right there, okay, Adam Sessler, who continues to make a fucking asshole out of himself. And during one of the most infamous rants, I was actually at this convention, and I was trying to pull up any sort of video footage because I've seen myself in the crowd a couple of different times, but all of the source material is gone, okay? Like, actually, hey, I think I still have it. You'll see it if I do, but yeah, I actually found it. That's just incredibly weird. I haven't seen this in a long time. If you're taking a look at the source video, which I'll go ahead and link in the description, you can't really make it out on the incredibly fat guy, another guy. Actually, he's not even a guy anymore, so it's just go ahead and glean you some insight as to his mental state, and it was even deteriorating at the time, not as quickly as the vascularity of his internal organs. But that is the former Jim Sterling. I forget what the fuck he was even called at the time, or whatever the fuck he's called now, Stephanie or some shit like that. I don't know, he wears a big goofy top hat with a fucking corset and a wig, and he's just a strange guy, and he likes to see his wife get plowed, so it's fucking weird, okay? But he's wearing the exact same lanyard, and then the little card key there as well. So yeah, 2013 SGC Screw Tag Gaming Convention, another channel and network that's actually dead. That's like really old school internet. Fuck, that was a fun time. And then especially going back and trying to find any of the original material that was out there. That really took me back to a much simpler time. But this was one of the panels, okay? This was one of the marquee panels for SGC 2013 because Adam Sessler was, he was fresh off of G4 getting closed down the first time, okay? And then he started up at, what was that called, Rev3 Games or something like that. And he was the big guy that was attached to that, and then he ended up leaving under circumstances that I don't think he's ever elaborated on, and then that little channel ended up dying off the vine, and then all of those people just kind of went on and leached onto the rest of the remaining fucking gaming channels that are out there. Okay, but to just give you a little bit of insight as to the type of character that Adam Sessler is, and we've got some tweets that are also a little bit unsavory, but these are the type of people that G4 brought on, okay, because we were going to be, oh, we're bringing gaming back, we're going to have really incredible discussions about the current state of the industry and force our politics down everybody's. Oh wait, no, we weren't supposed to do that at all whatsoever. Oh, there was such a big hope for G4 in the beginning, just like there was for Rev3 and the original incarnation of G4. But when you employ guys who say such things like this,
deflated and defeated, it really, and it don't even give me that First Amendment nonsense. You have every right to say it, and I have every right to call you a fucking asshole and try to find your address and put it out there.
Yeah. There he is, openly advocating for anybody who he disagrees with online, just going out there and advocating for doxing, and then everybody in the crowd just being like, oh my god, the famous people are up there talking and clapping along. Like I said, I didn't attend this panel specifically. If I had a chart of everything, I could tell you exactly which one I went to, or I could have been just upstairs, because that was at the... Was that the Hilton? I think it was the one that's actually attached to Reunion Tower in Dallas, Texas. But I did see Jim Sterling in the flesh, the very ample flesh. He's a very strange guy. And I also see, if you know anything about Movie Bob as well, that's a big fucking dude, okay? And he's deranged, and if he wants to do some fuck shit, you better let him, because he's, I think, about my height, and then about me standing next to me in width. That's a scary fucking deranged man. Also finds himself in a pussy desert, so desperate men will do desperate things. But I give you that background in order to set up what is currently going on. Well, G4, okay, after this big outburst by Frosk, and then Sessler just on the fucking video camera doing his big fucking goofy clap as well. She was going on for whatever reason. Maybe it was scripted, maybe it wasn't, okay, maybe it was ill-placed or something like that, but she was going on like it's 2014, recycling the old Gamergate lingo, and it's like, the fuck are you talking about here? We just wanted to discuss it. I think it was like, what's in store for Xbox in 2022? Can you just get back to the video games and stop calling everybody that's in the audience fucking bigots or whatever? And stop looking at the chat. Oh my god. But we got this article, mostly because it also cites sources, which is terrific and wonderful, fantastic. As a gamer, Xplay and G4 were the staples in my childhood. Again, something I can't relate to, but also it was always cool whenever you see video game getting mainstream attention, even just way back in the day, okay? Now, in my opinion, they get far too much mainstream attention. That's why you have Fortnite being on top of the charts for the better part of a decade, okay? It's like there's no innovation left in that fucking industry, and it's just sad to see at this point. Anyways, hurrying home from school to catch the latest episode with Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb, who's actually hot. Seeing their reviews of the latest games I wanted to play, I even structured a YouTube gaming show around the same concept in my own life. That's what this dude did, and a bunch of other people. And again, the entire reason I went down to SGC was mostly because of the gaming content that site provided at the time. So yeah, when all of that Gamergate stuff kicked off, and yeah, 2014, 2015, I just knew intrinsically, it's like, that's kind of bullshit. So to see this all cycle back up, it's like, oh, okay, I see, I understand. However, after a live stream yesterday, yes, so this was early January, Xplay has unlisted the video after receiving a ton of backlash around Frosk. It was actually up for a very long time, okay? Until very recently, because like you can see, they linked to it, but it's gone. Huh, weird. I wonder what happened. She went on a tirade. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Xplay unlisted the video after receiving a ton of backlash around Frosk, their new Xplay host. She's famous in gaming spheres for reasons I don't know for sure. I think it's League of Legends or something like that, but I never took up any of those Dota 2, Dota clones, whatever. I forget exactly their designation. That was my thing. Anyways. She went on a tirade about the treatment of women in gaming, like how they're just the main character in literally every fucking franchise, okay? They're replacing beloved characters, and you're told that they're being strong and powerful even though they're unattractive and they have a fucking side shave. And you're just supposed to accept them as beating up every man that's out there? Oh, okay, cool. So now all of the fucking failures from television and from movies are coming over to video games now, because that was the budding industry at the time. And then you wanted to take all of those politics that let video games overtake the lead, and oh, okay, I understand. And that's why everything fucking sucks. But it ended up being a blame game where she essentially called out her own audience, saying they were sexist and only watched Morgan Webb and Olivia Munn on G4 because of how they looked. Fact. Olivia Munn was there to be sexualized, okay? You have to run the clip of her trying to eat a hot dog with her hands tied behind her back, and then the hot dog covered in condiments suspended by a wire from the ceiling, okay? She went as far as saying, there will be backlash because I'm not as bangable as the previous host. So yeah, just throwing out that caveat. And then when that's screened, because I would love to play it, I'm sure that there's probably clips of it still up and everything. But no. She went on this tirade at the time that, oh, you guys don't like me not because I have stupid fucking takes. It's because I dug up and stole George Washington's dentures and I got my hair cut done like a roadie from Motley Crue. Like, listen, if you were good at your job, okay, nobody would give a fuck what you looked like. If you were attractive or even just, I don't know, didn't have that stupid nose piercing, and judging by the amount of makeup you're wearing, you at least give somewhat of a fuck about your appearance. So if you'd stop playing into the victimhood mentality, maybe people would have taken you seriously. But of course not. So a couple months later, like this happened right at the beginning of the year, there were consequences. And then you couple that on with Adam Sessler, which is weird. I'm sure he's probably still got his position there because he is at least famous and good at what he does. He's just a total fucking nut job, if you couldn't tell by the previous clip or these tweets. Okay, December 27th, 2021. Okay, so still technically, it's even more relevant than when he was originally calling for doxing on stage in front of, those were big conference rooms, so probably a couple hundred people. Quick reminder that Republicans aren't people. Oh no! Well, I'm Canadian, but still, I would still be classified as a Republican by Sessler. I'm pretty sure I'm real. I got a pulse in it. Anyways, just so I can get it out of my system once for the day, Republicans are stupid, racist, and drink piss. Hey, wait a minute. That's only Saturday mornings. Leoto Machida, not joke. But Republicans are stupid, racist, and drink piss? Oh my god. That's very hateful. And then, ooh, that one looks like it was screenshotted. Okay, that was from December 18th, 2020. Not for me. As I said yesterday, all the Republicans in my family can eat shit and die while I sip something bubbly. Oh, okay, cool. So he's at least the zealot to the cause, to the bitter fucking end, okay? Even his own family members, which, holy shit. I see these polls, they pop up, okay? For whatever reason, some people put out community posts on channels that I don't even subscribe to on YouTube, and then you just get their polls. Kind of fucking odd to see it when you scroll through like the homepage, but whatever. Okay, somebody had I think his name's like, it starts with Frank or something. I don't even fucking know. I see that it's up there. Have you ever lost a friend because of politics? Was one of the more recent ones, and it's like, no, mostly because I screen my friends fairly thoroughly and I curate my reality to reflect that of a winner, so the political divide would never even come up. We're discussing much more important things than that, so just imagine, you have a fairly high-paying gig, you're successful and recognizable, and you didn't take the advice of Michael Jordan from from a couple decades ago. Republicans buy shoes too. That's why he, for the most part, just stays apolitical, because he's a businessman. He's got business plans. But no, those are the type of people, okay, the G4 decided to build their resurgence on, okay? They were going to be coming back from the dead. Now was the time to strike while the iron is fucking ice cold, and launch a video game service. And then fall flat on their fucking face. That's Frosk again. More red flags in a Tiananmen Square, but she's got a whole bunch, just all the knacker tattoos, okay? Never been to a dentist, a neck tattoo, okay? Probably body piercings and all that other fucking extra shit that's disgusting. But G4, earlier in the past week, went through a massive purge. They laid off some 30 people, okay? And the fact that they even had that many people to begin with, and then even would draw on live streams 2,000 people, it's pretty fucking sad, actually. But after all the announcements, after everything was first announced, she decided to post this. Okay, let's play some games, yo. I survived. Not even an hour after it was first reported that a whole bunch of people would end up losing their jobs, okay? I don't feel bad for them because, again, they were able to see the writing on the wall, knowing that Adam Sessler is completely and totally unfucking hinged, and that Frosk, in the past few months, had gone on a wild fucking spurgouts, okay? If you decided to go down with the ship on that one, I don't really have a bunch of sympathy for you. And knowing the people, the quality of people that they do employ, again, it's like when one of these mediocre shows on television ends up getting canceled. Oh my god, you shouldn't be so happy for them. There's a lot of good people that lost their jobs. Well, if you're working behind the scenes and you're producing the type of shit that these personalities for G4 ends up putting out there that nobody watches or sees, maybe you're not that good at your job, and maybe you have to reevaluate your life. Anyways, let's just talk about this nutcase one last time, because this is the only time that I actually care. Because, again, like her original rant, it did nothing for me. I know it did a lot of things for a lot of people, but, again, when they're just grasping for attention, it was such an obvious ploy for attention. But now for the fact that G4 is basically on its fucking deathbed, I'll just give you your dues. Anyways, in a stunning display of tone deafness, particularly from someone whose own actions ostensibly played a significant role in getting here, G4 host Indiana Black, who goes by Frosk. Her name's Indiana, and she still needs a nickname? Like, the fuck is going on here? Responded to the network's recently announced sweeping staff cuts by sharing a meme celebrating the fact that she herself did not face the chopping block. Again, you were probably one of the driving forces that were out there, okay? Because that was back when G4 was in its infancy, okay? People were trying to give it a chance, and then you just go, nope, we need to talk about sexism, okay? And was it that one specific instance? Maybe, potentially. I don't know the numbers or anything like that, but it was definitely a tipping point, okay? And if she's immediately coming up with those talking points, that shit was going to come out regardless, okay? And if it wasn't going to be her losing her lid, it was more than likely going to be Sessler at one point or another. Because I remember him telling some other stories. Because I think he also had a solo panel at SGC. I could be wrong on that one. I think so. I think so. Where he was also telling a tale about how the whole network or cable television life wasn't for him. He didn't want to have a labeled parking spot anymore. He didn't want to have his reviews curtailed to only be a couple of minutes long. It was so freeing to be able to do a BioShock Infinite review that was 20 minutes long for a game that's several hours long. You can only muster 20 minutes of critique, whatever. Fucking garbage. And then to see him knowing all that stuff, because again, he's good at his job, but if he hated the system that he was in, why would he just go back? Oh, it's because he's a man of no principles. I understand. So this project was destined to fail. It shouldn't have, but it did. As per 3 sources familiar with the business who spoke to Kotaku. Oh god, that's just another L. Oh, there's a famous hand clapping, okay, where you just in front of the camera like a big dumb fucking bald crocodile. At least somewhere between 20 to 30 staff members were laid off from G4 on September 14th. These staff cuts reportedly took the affected by complete surprise, with many even showing up with set with the understanding that they would be working as normal, only to be met with both the news that their respective programs had been canceled and one-on-one layoff discussions with the network's HR staff. Yeah, please don't fire us. We'll give you a nice box to pack your stuff up with. But again, this was a brand new YouTube channel with an IP that was already a little bit tarnished to begin with, and you also had other people in the, or rather at the executive level, that were already leaving and going off to different places. They wanted to foster, okay, right at the beginning, they also wanted to foster a strong esports community, because that was the thing. I don't know, maybe it's still popular. I don't watch gaming shit anymore. I've moved on. I was 20, well, I guess I would have been 23 at the time that I went to SGC, okay? Now I'm a man of 32 years old, okay? I care about one game that's coming out in the future, and I hope it's not shit, okay? Final Fantasy VII, I think it's called Rebirth, the second part. Please don't be garbage. I'll be so sad. But I've grown up, okay? And so have everybody that remembers G4, okay? They remembered that as a time in their childhood. So they liked the video games back then, and they were liking the coverage of G4 back then. Why would they like this bastardized interpretation while the landscape of video games right now are just Dark Souls clones and fucking battle royales. Nobody gives a shit about what's going on right now. Or just little phone games that people use as microtransaction dispensaries. Who fucking cares? They like their video game coverage. They're watching those creators on YouTube. Okay, they're supporting them on alternative platforms. They don't need a blast from the past. It'll work for a minute, but if you aren't changing and you aren't evolving, it's dead on the vine. Okay, and it just goes to show for her to bring up topics that have already been discussed, already been debunked, already been thoroughly played out at this point. It just goes to show the lack of a disconnect between the audience and the people on screen. And that's the reason why YouTube took off, because there was that disconnect at every level of entertainment and information between the person that the people were watching on the screen and the consumer of the content themselves. They were seeing something completely different than the representation of that was being forced upon them, so they seeked alternative methods, and the people who were also seeing that just decided, hey, fuck it, I can buy a cheap microphone, I can buy a webcam, and I can put my ideas and thoughts on the internet. Okay, not quite like Adam Sessler, not quite like Frosk. You might actually do an honest interpretation of events. So yeah, if I cared about this story at the time, that would have been the take that I took, but here we are, mostly because I just found her response to this heinous. Oh, there's Gerard Khalil, that's the guy I met, and now he's just embarrassing himself. That sucks. He's a good dude, really based as well. Curiously, these cuts come on the heels of the network announcing a new slate of additional programming, including an Xplay hosted office-style parody of God of War titled God of Work. Yeah, that's going nowhere at the speed of smell. To this end, one insider who spoke to Kotaku opined, I truly cannot imagine the company continuing to produce our slate of content without the people we lost today. Yeah, so it's all the little people. All of the little people who weren't on camera, okay, don't have massive followings, could probably use the work, probably could use the experience. Of course, they get shelved because the Frosk has a bunch of flannels. Staff were also said to have been working without a coherent sense of direction. A frustrating confusion, which supposedly erupted with now former G4 president Russell Aarons. There it is. That's a guy that I referenced a little bit earlier, who herself abandoned ship earlier this year, admitted that the network was facing financial hardship. Wow, imagine that. That's originally why it ended up taking a nosedive back when the industry was actually producing fresh content, which if you couldn't talk about games in the late 2000s, I don't know what the fucking problem. I don't know what's wrong with you. In an attempt to right the ship, set goals with the company, with the upcoming year, which were widely considered to be completely unfeasible. Notably, not only did Aarons leave the network a little under a year after she accepted her position as president, it came just roughly 5 months after a similarly voluntary departure by senior Vice President Blair Herter. Yep. Taking to Twitter the day after, I guess I seen the Twitter post about an hour after I seen the announcement that G4 was laying everybody off, and I just wanted to see if she ended up kicking the can, but no, that was what she decided to post, which is, I don't know, man, that is so fucking tone deaf, okay? Your actions directly led to this happening. Not saying it wouldn't have happened without you, saying you helped cause that. And then to dance on people's graves, career graves, while the corpses are still warm. That is super fucked up, because these people are out on the skids now at a time when everything's a little bit tougher. Not saying their content that they helped produce was any good or they were good at their jobs. It's just, I don't know why you would do this. Taking to the days after were divulged to the public. Frosk, whose infamous sexism and gaming rant will undoubtedly be cited as a major factor in the network's struggles, responded to the news by sharing a meme which featured a lizard with a crown, with the deal with it glasses and a joint, and a bold text reading, I survived, superimposed over the image. Let's play some games, folks. Just not you evil bigots that are out there. But to be fair, let's play some games. She's probably actually looking for some people to just play games with in the future, because if she continues on this downward trajectory, she'll need something to do with her time. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.